Most people think this story begins when the boat arrives. It does not. It begins on the water. People have crossed the eye between Amsterdam and this northern shore for centuries, long before the Dutch Republic, before the Golden Age, and long before canters and fat bikes. A century ago, many of its passengers were labourers, dockhands. Today the ferry carries bicycles, commuters, tourists, and people trying not to be run over by bicycles, commuters and tourists. So the oldest surviving element in this IJPLEIN story is not the buildings, it's the act of crossing. At its height, around 1,000 people worked across a vast industrial landscape of steel frames, furnaces, workshops, docks and noise. Where there are now brand new homes, gardens and playgrounds, there were once foundries, cranes and ships lifted out of the water like stranded metal whales. During the 1980s, the old ADM ground was transformed into housing through a master plan led by Rem Koolhaas. This is the OMA. It was a group of architects designing different parts of the neighbourhood. These first blocks announce this immediately. They are not monumental, but they are deliberate. Long horizontal bands meeting vertical divisions. Staircases interrupt facades. Windows form rhythms, then suddenly break them. Corners refuse to behave just as mere corners. At the end of the road across the water, St. Nicholas suddenly appears. Not by accident as a postcard, but as an actual visual kaleidoscope defining this district. Residents fought to preserve connections with the eye when the area was planned, so the gaps between buildings matter as much as the buildings themselves. The sun is effectively an unpaid architect. It arrives every morning redesigning the facades, creates rectangles, triangles and the long blades, then removes the entire composition before evening. Nothing moves, but everything changes. There is something very Dutch in this fascination with line, plane, rhythm and light. Not that IJPLEIN is de style or a Mondrian painting made habitable. It is not. But walk here long enough and the buildings begin to dissolve into geometry. The street stops becoming scenery, it actually becomes a composition. This is where the IJPLEIN begins to show its garden city character. Then the architecture loosens and the neighbourhood opens into shared grounds. Residents grow food and plants here. Beside it, a school playing field and a skate ramp. This is planning at its most useful. It's not a grand civic square where nobody knows exactly what to do except cross it quickly. This is a productive space. Children play, teenagers skate, residents cultivate food. The neighbourhood becomes something where people perform rather than occupy. The old ADM site once produced engines, metalwork and repaired ships. Now parts of it produce tomatoes. And then the black form appears. Severe, polished and slightly mysterious. It feels appropriate in IJPLEIN where one landscape has repeatedly replaced another. The industrial world survives in fragments and names and monuments and memories here. The modern neighbourhood is reflected in the object that asks us to remember what preceded it. It's a strikingly simple monument, but it tells an unimaginably painful story. In November 1942, 367 Jewish workers from the nearby Hollandia-Kattenburg factory were taken from here and deported to Auschwitz. Only 8 ever came home. Back along the Northern Wall, the neighbourhood cafe brings yet another layer. No master plan, however brilliant, can manufacture community. Architects can place buildings. They can calculate the distances, their heights, access routes and sidelines. But they can't design the smell of food from a local kitchen, someone's plants outside a doorway, a bicycle that's clearly become a permanent structural feature, or the daily negotiations between neighbours over what counts as tidy. That comes later. Moving through these smaller streets, the architecture becomes intimate. Gardens soften the geometry, reflections double it, shadows redraw it. Buildings across the street mirror one another without becoming identical. The effect is calm and never dull. There is thought in the alignment. A view is framed. A building on one side may answer the building opposite it, related yet reversed, not twins but reflections. I noticed the same idea in Bettendorp and in parts of the Amsterdam School architecture. The street is treated as a whole composition. One side proposes whilst the other replies. A roofline echoes another roofline. An entrance is balanced by the one across the road. The windows line up and then shift just enough to prevent the street from becoming a filing cabinet of humans. The houses not only merely stand beside each other, they appear to be having a very restrained Dutch conversation. The neighbourhood appears to edit itself as you walk through it. Here we reach Het Dock. The name preserves its industrial past directly. Here the architecture becomes more assertive. The long building is cut by roads, access routes and walkways. Movement is not hidden inside it. Movement becomes part of what the building looks like. Where traditional housing represents a facade and keeps circulation private, this architecture displays the living machinery. Stairs, galleries, bridges and the openings. People moving from one level to another to become part of this composition. The building does not completely sit on the route cuts through it. This is early OMA design territory. Architecture as sequence, not something understood from one photograph, but something revealed through movement. Standing still gives you the building, walking gives you the idea. And here the old shipyard finally becomes physical again. The ADM monument incorporates original steel frames from this former yard, not decorative imitations or heritage-themed street furniture. Actual pieces of industrial skeleton. The ADM operated here from the late 19th century until the early 1980s.
Amsterdam, een dode stad. Een brug van aaneengesmede ponten belemmerde het verkeer te water.
It repaired ships, built them, lengthened them, manufactured heavy machinery. Its workforce rose and fell with the economy. During the Second World War, the Hendrik dock was deliberately sunk by the occupying German forces, a demolition unit in 1944, with the Italian ship, the Maggio, still inside it. After the war, the dock was raised, repaired by ADM workers and returned into service. The dock was destroyed in war, recovered from water and made useful again. This is not merely engineering. This is a defiance with rivets.
In Amsterdam verdwijnt nogal eens een auto in de gracht, maar deze is met opzet te water gelaten in het kader van een grote Pieremegochelwedstrijd. Teert werd en toen zoveel succes had dat Herdamse figuren als Tante Leen en Johnny Jordaan. Natuurlijk viel er veel te lachen, maar daarnaast was er ook veel bewondering voor de vindingrijkheid van de jeugdige Pieremegochelbouwers.
If you're fond of sand dunes and salty air, quaint little villages here and there.
As we continue our journey through the IJPLEIN, it feels neither like a preserved industrial heritage or a museum of the 1980s architecture. It is alive, it's altered and occasionally untidy, which is exactly what successful neighbourhoods do. And now we reach the eastern buildings of the IJPLEIN, the climax. A structure that appeared to have arrived in somebody else's wet dream of the future, circa 1976. This is Doctor Who, Blake 7, Logan's Run, the sort of future where humanity has solved interplanetary travel, but remains trapped in some municipal concrete. It is severe yet playful. It's brutalist in mood and not just brutalism. Function yet flirtatiousness, practical and strangely elevating. The long form is broken by voids, columns, walkways, geometric volumes and routes passing beneath it. Housing sits above local services, a doctor, a child physiotherapy, a supermarket, care for the elderly. The building does not separate civic life from domestic life, it stacks and interlocks it. Its circulation is unusually complex. Galleries sit at the unexpected levels, stairs cross and rise. The building reveals itself in fragments rather than presenting one obedient face. It is less a block than an inhabited piece of infrastructure. A bridge, a street, a frame. A machine for living, shopping, healing, aging, and occasionally wondering whether Servalan is about to emerge from the lift at maximum power. The architecture becomes cinematic because it's never fully visible at one point. You must move through it. Light passes across the columns, shadows slice the ground, openings frame people and sky. The buildings appear severe from a distance and then unexpectedly human when life becomes visible within it. That contradiction is its charm. IJPLEIN began with water. Then came docks, machines and workers. Then decline, demolition, and a new plan for living. Today it's a neighbourhood of ferries, gardens, memorials, markets, cafes, children, old people and architecture that never quite allows the eye to rest. Its buildings are not simply objects, they frame the city, they reflect each other, they catch the sun and throw shadows. Remember industry, shelter life. Most people arrive here and continue walking, but IJPLEIN, it deserves the pause. The longer you look, the less ordinary it is. The architect designed the forms, the residents give it life. History supplied the ghosts, and every hour the sunlight draws across the whole thing again.
More drinks. Excellent. End of that.
If you liked my silly little videos, then please do comment, have a like, and maybe subscribe. There are more videos on my channel online, and I hope you enjoy them. All the best. Have a great day.